Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Elisa and I make all my clothes from scratch. The channel is a... What am I talking about? That's not my intro. Hi everybody, my name is Elisa. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, this channel is all about me creating my dream wardrobe from scratch, and I'm taking you along for the ride so maybe you can recreate some of the things that I make at home. This week I plan to make a summer suitable jumpsuit, and I'm gonna try to tackle the slightly overcast British May weather right now with a gorgeous color. I'm gonna work with this amazing finely ribbed cord in this really gorgeous lilac. It's a very coolly undertoned pink and I'm obsessed with this ever since I unpacked it. I actually did that on camera. Let's cue that clip. Oh my god, I already love this. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, this color kills me. The cord is a little bit thinner than I expected it to be. However, I think it's gonna be fine because this is going to be a summer jumpsuit and I'm supposed to still be comfortable and cool wearing this if the weather for some miracle reason climbs over 24 degrees. I think I might still be able to wear this and I'm still gonna be comfortable because it's cotton, it's quite thin, it's ribbed as well. Even if I hold it up to the window, I mean, I can even see through it like that much maybe. I think it's gonna be very comfortable and nice. The pattern for this project I came up with by tracing trousers of my own that I know fit me well, and then I just plopped a bodice on top of that, so to speak, a blouse type bodice with a front closure, a collar, very simple sleeves, and it's one continuous piece. There's not going to be a seam in the waist. 2 pockets in the bust area, there are going to be 2 pockets in the front hip area, and there are going to be 2 pockets on the bum. So it's going to be a lot of pockets. And that's it really. That's the plan for this project, and maybe let's do it together. Maybe you learned something from it. I'm sure you can recreate the pattern at home with the technique I just explained, and let's get to it. I don't think there's much more to say about it. Let's go. Okay, so I literally just quickly whipped up this mock-up, which is just a very sloppy version of the pants, and I really just did that to see if my theory pans out and if everything is an okay size, if it's too small, if it's too big, etc. So I'll try that on now over my clothes because it looks like it's quite big. Yeah, that looks alright. Size looks alright. I bought this neoprint for my yoga suit set and this is what he gave me. Like, there was this hole here. I mean, he showed me before he sold it to me. He was like, oh, I'm gonna give you like 30 centimeters more, but how odd, like this perfectly circular hole. Okay, so I think sizing pans out. I like and that's something you have to consider, the crotch length, because that could be something that could cause discomfort if it's too short. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I think this works. The pattern is tested and proved, and now we can actually cut out the real fabric. Alright, all the pattern pieces are cut, so we're gonna start from the top with the 2 saddle pieces, I think that they're called, or what's the other word for it? I'll have to look it up. So the 2 top pieces, this is the collar, we have the sleeves over here, and then the long torso pieces, let's call them. I also have some smaller pieces here which are gonna become the button tape and the belt, and then I have still some fabric left that I'm gonna use to cut out the pockets from it. Alright, so let's start with this project. I'm gonna first start by sewing the bum seam, the crotch seam in the back, and the crotch seam in the front. Okay, so we have the front sewn together in the crotch seam as well as the back, and I also already serged them because it's easier this way. So now what I'm gonna do is I'll grab both pieces and I open up the legs like that, and place it in front of me like this. And then I take the back piece and do the same thing, separate the legs, and then place my 2 crotch seams for the back and the front on top of each other like this so that they meet. I'm gonna fold the seam allowance to either end just so it's lying flat. And then I can start pinning together the inner leg seam. Okay, so I just pinned together the legs, and now I'm gonna start to sew from this midpoint here down one end towards the hem, and then from midpoint towards the other leg down to the hem. Alright, so as a next step, I'm gonna put the saddle onto all of my pieces. So at the moment, the jumpsuit is only joined on the inner seams, but then it's not joined on the side seams. And that's a good thing because I have 2 separate front saddles and I have 1 continuous back saddle. So I'm going to now attach those. I'm gonna start with the back. Alright, so I'm now going to sew all of these seams. Alright, so progress has been made. We currently have all the pockets prepared, so these are the ones that are going to go in the bust area. Then we have the pockets that are going to go in the hip area. I also still need to cut out 2 pockets for the bum. The main bodice is sort of assembled. Sort of looks like this right now. The legs are down here, and this is the top. I think what I'm gonna do now, just to get a better feeling for the fit of this, I'm gonna close the shoulder seams so I can kind of slip into this even though the side seams are not yet closed. That's just going to give me an understanding of like what the sizing is, if it's okay, if it's too big, if I need to size it down a little bit, or if it's good the way it is. And then also I can place the pockets a little bit and have a play and see what I like. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I basically just placed the pockets on the front of the jumpsuit. I already have top stitched the breast pockets, but I still need to do the hip pockets here. So what's going on right now is basically I'm really keen and itching to close the side seams. However, I think I'm going to do myself a favor by adding the back pockets before I do close the side seams, because it's going to be easier for me to put them on here. But for that, I have to cut them out first, so let's do that. Always remember to make sure which direction the fiber of the cord is going in. In this case, it's looking down that way, and that would be the wrong way. So this is the top of my pocket, and this is the bottom, and this is how I'm going to cut it on the fabric. Alright, the pockets are here, prepped and ready to go onto the bum. The back pockets are complete. Alright, so the current state of affairs is that all the pockets are attached in the front and in the back. And I think that this is going to make it way easier for me in the process of things. So I'm now going to close the side seams. So everything around the bodice slash like torso and legs, everything's closed. But the pockets are already attached, so I don't have to faff around later because that's already done. And then once this is done, I will try it on once again. Then I can add the sleeves. And the last thing to focus on is going to be the collar and front closure of the whole thing. which still could ruin it all, technically. But we're positive thinkers, the cup is half full. So let's close the side seams. Excuse me. Look at this. How cute. Very, very happy with what this looks like right now. Can only go uphill from here, I guess. So I'm really happy with the trousers. They fit perfectly. I have just enough space in here to be super comfy. And I think it's gonna look really nice once I have the belt here and the sleeves. So let's continue. All right, so I'm now going to sew together the side seams of the sleeves. As always, right side stitching. Okay, now I'm gonna do a quick test to see if I can rely on the sleeve fitting in here. Okay, I'm gonna start with one sleeve and I'll start pinning that in. Place it. Right sides touching, first with the side seams matching, and then I will place it facing towards the front. I'll pivot the seam so it just is a little bit offset towards the front. It's gonna make it so that we can move our arms a little bit easier. Look at this light, isn't that gorgeous? I love it when that happens. It just rained quite heavily and now the sun's out. Okay, so these are the pieces for my collar. They will have to be joined in the center back. That means the first thing for me is going to be to join these seams. Now I'm going to place them right sides touching and I'll pin them together. But first, something that my teachers told me was to always cut down one side a little bit, because that is going to improve the shape of the collar and it's going to help it to overturn a little bit more nicely. And now when I'm placing them back on top of each other, right sides touching, I'm going to make sure that the edges are flush where I cut them back. So now the edges are lifting a little bit off the table, which is good. You can see that there's a little bit of a difference down here. It's because we cut it back and then still pinned it together in a flush way. So now I'm gonna sew this. The situation is as follows. We now have the collar, which is ready to be attached to the bodice of the jumpsuit. I also have this strap here, which is going to become the button tape. And I also have somewhere this facing here, which is going to help me attach the button tape to the bodice. Now, I'm going to show you what the final product is going to look like, because obviously I had to test this before I show you how to do it. So I don't know if you can see this, but we have the button tape attached here and it looks clean and nice on the inside because there is facing. Now, the way to do this is to first grab your facing and serge the rounded edge here. Now for the button tape, I already pressed this, as you can see, with the right sides out. However, I'm going to reverse it one more time and I'm going to sew this edge here, the short edge, on both ends. I'm also going to cut back this corner here so I can then nicely overturn it. Now I'm going to turn this back around so the right side is looking out, and this gives me some really crisp, nice corners that are overturned, as you can see here. All right, now we have everything to attach it to the jumpsuit. Place this long edge of the center front in front of me. Then first I'm going to grab my button tape. I'm going to make sure that the grain of the fabric is facing the right way, so this way. I'm then going to place it right sides touching, and I'm just going to secure it with a few pins at first. Then I'm going to take my facing, place it right sides on top of that, and sandwich the button tape in between the jumpsuit and the facing. All right, and now I'm going to sew down this edge. Okay, now this is attached, and once we do this and do this, we have a nicely attached button tape, and I'm now going to press this. Alright, so I think we've made some great progress. I'm running out of battery on my phone, which is what I'm using to record, and it's also 9:45, so I'm gonna take this as a sign to call it a day. Let me show you where I'm gonna leave it at. So this is the situation with the button tape. It's in. The whole thing looks a bit fuzzy right now because it's not pressed properly, but I'm happy with this. And tomorrow I'm gonna, or the next time I'm gonna get to work on this, I'm gonna add the collar and I'm gonna do some finishing touches and then I'm done. Okay, it's 2 days later. This is not a joke, this is not a drill. I just tried this on and I ripped it. Seriously though, I mean, look at this. It's ripped in the center back. I don't know how this happened. I was just not careful enough when I put it on, I guess. But it's all okay. I have a plan to fix this and I'm gonna show you how. But this was obviously not on my agenda. So it's gonna happen. Okay, so while we have to do this and this was not planned, let's make it fun. Let me know if any of you know where this fabric is from. It's from one of my projects that I featured here on YouTube. And I would be curious if any of you have seen this video. So I'm gonna use this little swatch here. I have some fusible interfacing and I have a little bit left of my main shell fabric. So what I'll do is I'll measure out the damage area. So we have 4 centimeters. I'm gonna make it 6 centimeters wide, this little tag that I'm gonna plop on here. So what I'll do is I will take this to my iron and then I'll press over the edges ever so slightly so that it has nice edges for both of these. Then I'll plop this one on the outside and I'll plop this one on the inside with these. So let's see if that works. All right, so this is now pressed on and it looks like a little tag. And I'm now going to hand stitch this in place also, so it's definitely secure. So I'm currently pinning in the collar and I have a little bit of ease in my neck hole right now. My collar is a little bit smaller, so I'm trying to pin it in and make it so that I don't have any pleats here, which I know this doesn't look like I don't have any pleats here, but I'm gonna try to stretch it when I sew it and I'm gonna sew very close to the edge. Look at this. How cute is this? I love this. Is much better than I thought it was going to be. I hate to say it, but it's true. All right, so now the idea was to put some facing here. The question is it necessary? Am I going to serge this? Because I serged everything else and the first part of this is going to be nicely overturned anyway with the facing here. Why not? I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, and now the last thing to do up here is I'm going to fold this over and inwards like this, and I'm gonna hand sew it down.
I was at the wrong place at the right time, 'cause suddenly there you were with those bright blue eyes. We were conversing under the night sky when you took my hand, said let's leave now. Don't wanna be shy, I will let my guard down. Don't wanna be shy, love talked about everything that was on our minds. Talking to you gave me butterflies. Then you took my hand, said let's leave now. Don't wanna be shy.